Hey guys, and welcome to Slasher Games. So today I'm going to be showing you how to slow down time. This is a very exciting tutorial. As you can see, I'm really trying my hardest to avoid getting hit by all of these thousands of bullets that are getting sprayed out by, I don't know how many turrets I've got here, and they're rotating every 5 seconds. It's quite hard. So what we're going to do is we're going to press spacebar, and then slowly the game world is going to slow down. Things are going to move a lot slower. Shell casings will be ejected a lot slower. Bullets are going to be shot out slower. Reload speeds are going to take longer, and the pauses between shots are going to be longer. So all these variables need to be adjusted depending on the reduction in time. So let's press spacebar and see what happens. There we go. Spacebar's been pressed. Bullets are getting shot slower. Shell casings are being ejected. Everything is moving right now at about 20% of the normal speed, and as you can see, it's quite entertaining. We're dodging some bullets, we're shooting very slowly. Maybe we can find an opponent here to take it out. I think this way might be someone. Pretty cool stuff. And as you can see, I got these bullet ripples because I just couldn't resist. Oh, damn, that was one right to the face. But anyway, as you can see, everything's very slow, and notice that the slowing down wasn't instantaneous. It was very gradual. So what we're doing is we're giving it a number that we wanted to slow down to, and then it's gradually getting there and then stopping. So if I push spacebar again, things speed up, and yeah, see, reloading. If I push spacebar while it's reloading, notice the reloading will take a lot longer for this last quarter. There we go, pretty cool. Speed it up, slow it down, speed it up, and slow it down. It's quite entertaining. So let's jump straight into the code, and I can show you how you can add this to pretty much any project that you currently have. Let's go. So at this point in time, some of you are probably thinking, to slow down time, we can actually just reduce the room speed, and then steps will be performed slower, therefore the game will run slower. Yes, this is true. But now what are you going to do when you want to speed it up again? What we want to do is we want a controller that can slow down our time and bring it back to the normal speed at will. We don't want to mess with the room speed. So what we're going to do here is we can actually create that controller, and it's going to handle that spacebar event. So as you can see in sprites, we've got bullets. We've got this bullet time, which is just a circle. It's a really tiny circle. See? That's getting created behind the bullets once every few seconds. Then we've got shell casings, our minigun, which you've seen before. We've got our player, we've got the blood splatter, and we've got a box. That's just going to stop bullets and stop our player from going through. Alright, in sounds I've got this heartbeat to simulate the slow time experience. Okay, then in the backgrounds we've got the floor, and these objects are familiar to you at this point. So if we go to rooms, over here, we've got the game world. Alright, if we go to settings, notice the room speed is 30. We've got a view here set to follow our player. Okay, so that's all good. So to start this off, I just want to make sure this is saved. To start this off, I'm going to set up our system. So let's get this controller going. I've got a controller object here. We're going to call it object time controller, and it has no sprite because we don't really need to see it. And it's going to have some events. First, it's going to have a create. Drag in some code over here. So I'm going to create a global variable called global.time multiplier. And I'm going to set it to 1. 1 is going to be our standard speed. So as I'm speaking now, that's the level. That's a 1. If you had to speed up this video twice, twofold, that would be 2 times. If you had to slow it down by a half, that'll be 0.5. So we're at 1, and every time we push spacebar, it's going to be changing this variable, and this variable is going to be set to everything that has to move in our game, and that simulates the slowing down of time. So there we go, we set it to 1. We got slow down equals false, and that's pretty much all we have in the create. Then I'm going to add a step, and the step's going to say here, if slow down equals true. Okay. Then what we're going to do is think about how slow we want this game to go. Now, I like the whole 20% speed story. It looked pretty cool. It was manageable. It wasn't too slow to be boring. You could really appreciate the slowness of the time. So we want to make sure that we don't go below 20%. So if global, and then here we're going to have time multiplier is greater than 0.2, that's 20%. So if it's greater than 0.2, it means we can still decrease it. Let's decrease it by 0.010, 0.01. That should be fine. Otherwise, if we've reached 20% speed, then we have arrived. So basically, that global.time multiplier equals 0.2. Alright, then we're going to have an else over here, not SL, else. What I should do is increase the size of this so we can all see nicely. So otherwise, if we are speeding up, so slow down is false, we need to check that if global.time multiplier, I'm going to grab this into the clipboard because we can use it a lot, is less than 1. So now we're increasing. We just copy this, paste it in there, some indentation. Doing the opposite, we're increasing by the same rate as we are decreasing. Otherwise, it is equal to 1. Pretty cool. I'm going to be putting in that sound. I'm going to say if... Oh yes, my clipboard. Global time multiplier is less than or equal to 0.5. Then we're going to say, well, if not audio is playing, that's what we're looking for, is playing. Sound ID was SND slow time. Bam. What do we got? Is that it? So then I'll check. So if it's not playing, then play it. Audio play sound. Sound ID, SND, slow time. Uh-oh, bracket's gone wonky. 100 priority, and it doesn't loop. Yes, it does loop. We'll have that loop. Cool. Cool. Otherwise, copy this, paste it in, take away this not playing, change play sound to stop sound, and we just need the sound ID. Cool. So in our step we are saying if we're slowing down, then keep slowing down until it's at 20%. If it reaches 20%, then leave it at 20%. Otherwise we are speeding up, so if it's less than 1, then speed it up. Otherwise we are at normal time. And then this just handles the sound whenever we are less than or equal to 0.5. So half speed, it's going to start playing that heartbeaty slow time sound. Okay, cool. So now that that's done, we're going to add the spacebar event, which is going to be returning the speed to normal, or it's going to be slowing it down. So if slow down equals true, slow down equals false, else slow down equals true. Pretty simple. If we are slowing down, we are no longer slowing down, otherwise we are slowing down. Cool. So now that that's all sorted, I'm going to go put this time controller in my room. Anywhere, I'll just put it over there. Okay, save. Now as it is now, nothing's going to happen. If I have to play the game, there's going to be no change. What we've got to do is apply that time multiplier to everything that moves. So that's our player, that's our bullet, that's our shell casing, that's our rotation of the mob minigun, that's our rotation. That's pretty much it. So let's start with our player. Now, one thing to notice is these two alarms. Now, an alarm works using the room speed. So we gotta really take a think here, because we're gonna be changing the rate at which our game is appearing to run. So we can't have a reload speed of 4 seconds and then slow down the time, because it's still going to be 4 seconds. We want it to be 4 seconds times the current time multiplier. So instead of having these two, we're going to be using the step event to handle reloading and the pause between each shot, so that it is relative to that time multiplier. So let's go to our create over here and let's update some stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a variable called isPause. We've already got a variable called isReloading. IsPause is basically going to tell us, yes, stop firing, we need to have a little gap between each shot. Then I'm going to add two variables. One's going to be called reload time, set it to 0, and here we got, pause time, also set it to 0. Now, some of you may be catching on to what I'm doing here. Instead of having those alarms and then calling them and waiting 4 seconds, I'm going to be setting is pause or is reloading to true, and then I'm going to be incrementing to this reload time variable a certain fraction of an amount. And that's going to be times by the time multiplier. And when this fraction of an amount gets to the reload speed or the pause speed, that's the same as what the alarm is doing. Then it's going to set can shoot back to true, and is reloading is false or is pause back to false. So that's pretty much what we are trying to accomplish right over here. Okay, so those are the only variables we need to change in the create: pause time, reload time, and is pause. Then I'm going to go into the step, and let's read through what we've got. Okay, so we've got some basic movement, we've got a rotation speed, and that handles the rotation. We now have to apply that time multiplier to every variable here that makes us move or does something. So that means over here, over here, over here, and over here. We need to do a times by. And I'm going to wrap these in brackets because I want to. There we go. Just like that. Alright, so that's it for the step for now. Let's say OK. Now let's go into the global left button. So this is where we're creating the bullet. So we need to make sure that when the bullet is created, we're altering perhaps the speed at which it is traveling on creation. Those kind of things. So here in the global left button, we are checking if we've got ammo and if we can shoot and we're not reloading. We are creating a bullet instance and we are sending it off and whatnot. So certain things that we need to change in here. We're going to have a look at things that move. Here we've got a bullet ID speed, so we need to change that. Then in here we need to remove these alarms and replace them with those is reloading and is paused variables. So let's go back up to the speed here. Now, because the bullet could be in existence, we need to alter its speed on the fly. So we can't have its speed set here in the creation of it. So we're going to remove that completely. Then I'm going to go down to here, these alarms, we're going to remove these, and in this case, that goes away, and in the bottom case, all we do is type is pause equals true, and get rid of that. Very simple. So, just like that, we've got rid of those alarms, and we have made sure that the bullet speed can be changed in its own instance, and not here in the player's global left button. Okay, so that's all there is to editing this. Say OK. Now I'm going to go back into the step. And we need to add code to do pretty much what these alarms were doing. So in this case, the reloading was saying after 4 seconds or whatever, we're not reloading anymore. And what alarm 1 was saying is, that was the slight pause between each shot. That's all funny. There it is. So I'm going to delete both of these. Go into our step event. That's going to be handled. It's going to be handled in there. Go to the bottom. Make some new space. And this is we're going to handle the reloading. Let's start with reloading. So if is reloading, then we're going to say reload time plus equals 1 divided by room speed times the global dot time multiplier. Ooh, that is quite a mouthful. So every step we are saying that we are increasing the reload time by 1/30th, because every step is 1 divided by room speed, so 1/30th times it by whatever the time multiplier currently is. So if it's 0.5, it's going to be 1/30th times 0.5, and it's going to be adding that to reload time until reload time is at the desired level where reloading is complete. So it's a little complicated, but that's what we have to do to get rid of that alarm. So here we're going to say if reload time is greater than or equal to reload speed. Okay, so we've reached the amount of time that is required to reload. Is reloading equals false. Can shoot equals true. Reload time is going to be 0 again, as it was on create. And we need to determine which gun to fire out of. So, if it was left, then go right. Otherwise, go left. Pretty simple. So that'll handle the reloading. We're going to do a similar thing for the pausing between each shot. It's based on the same principle. So actually what I'm going to do is copy this entire piece, paste it down here, and I'm going to change this to pause. And this is going to be is pause. Now this is going to be pause time. And this is going to be rate of fire. And this is going to be is pause, is false. Can shoot equals true. This is going to be pause time. Oh my. And it's going to be doing the same sort of story over there. We're firing from the left, fire from the right, otherwise fire from the left. So those two pieces of code from line 26 to line 60 eliminates alarm 0 and alarm 1. So that's pretty cool. Just like that. And yeah, whenever there's something that needs to be incremented or added on to another number, it's going to have this global time multiplier, which at any point in time could be any number. That was the problem with having alarms, because we can't change the amount of time between an alarm after it's already been set to go off. So there we go, that's okay, that's in the step there. Alright, so that's everything we need to do for Object Player. We're going to go to Object Bullet now. It's running on the same sort of principle. Basically, everything that moves needs to be given that multiplier. Here we've got owner, that was from Blood Splatter tutorial, and in the step we have got something to destroy itself if it goes further than 2000 pixels. This is just to clean up a little. So now what we're going to do in the create over here is I'm going to add bullet time, set it to 0. I'm going to add bullets time interval, set that to 1 for 1 second perhaps. Say OK. We go to the step, then I'm going to leave that where it is. We are going to set its speed. See, now we're setting it here in the step because it can change at any point in time. So we need to keep this updated. It was 35, I think, in the global left button pressed, so we're going to keep that. And we're going to times it here by global.time multiplier. Cool. And then it's going to destroy itself as was before. Bullet time plus equals the global time multiplier. Over there, and we're gonna create that little circle thingy behind the bullet to show it kind of like flying through space-time. I don't know, it looks all cool. So that's just what this piece of code here is going to do. So if bullet time is greater than or equal to bullet time interval, we are going to say if global time multiplier is less than or equal to 0.5, so also when that beating slow time sound comes on, it's going to also switch on these little effects. Var a equals instance create at the xy of the bullet and object effect bullet time. Okay, I still have to create that object. We'll do that in a second. A.image_angle equals direction of the bullet, and bullet time is now equal to 0. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up this bullet object. It's going to be traveling at its usual speed, but now factoring in the time multiplier, we are telling it to destroy itself when it gets past 2000 pixels. Bullet time
is incremented by the time multiplier, and this is going to determine when it needs to deploy that little effect, which is at normal speed, every 1 second. So that's how this thing's working out, saying that if it was 1 second and now we're at half speed, it's going to be 2 seconds. Okay, excellent. So that's everything we need to do for bullet. I'm going to create that effect. We're going to call it, was it object effect bullet time, and we're going to give it that sprite. And I also wanted to destroy itself, so let's add a step over here. Let's put in some code and say image alpha minus equals 0.1 times global dot time multiplier. Okay, so it's going to be decreasing its image alpha, and if the image alpha is less than or equal to 0, it can destroy itself. Just like that. Pretty simple. So that'll fade and destroy itself, so it's not always in existence. So now we need to go into the object shell casings and make sure that they're doing pretty much the same thing. So if we go into the create of this, we'll see some things that we need to change, namely speed. Random range 10.4, this needs to be times global time multiplier. Alright. Everything else is fine. Go into step. Quite a few things need to change here. Pretty much every variable that's getting incremented needs to be incremented by what it was times by the global time multiplier. So we've got the scale. We've got the spin here. Let's put that in a bracket. What else? This one. Let's also put brackets around these. Again, spin. Brackets around those. Here we go, fade rate. There we go. Cool. So when it's traveling up, we're increasing its scale by 0.2 times by whatever our multiplier is. Image angle is handling the spin there also. It's going to be spinning slower when we are moving slower, and going down it's going to be decreasing slower, and again spinning slower. And then here lastly it's going to be fading slower. So everything is doing what it did, but this time a lot slower, or depending on whatever the current time multiplier is. Cool beans. Another thing done. Now object mob minigun. It's got quite a few things in here. Let's have a look. It also needs to have some variables to control itself, but if we look into step over here, what's going on is it's not using any alarms, which makes it a lot easier for us to implement the slow time, which is cool. So basically we've just got to add our time multiplier to everything here. So image speed, blammo that in over there. Rotation speed, there it is. Let's see what else. Take that out because the bullet's going to be handling its own speed. Keep going down. Pause time over here. We've got to times this by the global time multiplier. I don't need a bracket there. Keep going down. Here again, another instance of that. Let's put a bracket on these. Very good. Get rid of that one. Just like that, we're good to go. So everywhere where we are incrementing something at the normal speed of whatever the game room was, now we are manipulating that and adding or multiplying it by the time multiplier. Very, very cool. And then if it collides with bullets, it's going to be creating a blood splatter. So I think at this point in time, we've done pretty much everything we need to do. We've gone through all of these objects and we have edited everything they did at normal speed. We've made sure that no matter what the speed is, it's going to be doing the same thing, but at a different rate of time. So we're going to click OK. I'm going to save this. And let's test it. Oops, looks like we got an error.
Oh, that's not how you spell multiplier. Where is this? Object player. Step. Ugh. There we go. Typos, right? They can mess with your mind. Okay, let's try this again. Alright, we're in the game. We're shooting a normal. Everything seems to be going fine, which is great. Let's see if we can do a normal reload. Reloading. Good. Okay, cool. And the gaps between shots, everything is perfect. So now I'm going to push space. Everything's slowing down as we expected to. Things are moving slowly. We've got bullet time. Shell casings are being ejected at slow time. The bullet's traveling slowly. If I increase the rate of speed, everything goes back to normal. So that about wraps up what it takes to implement slow time in any sort of game that contains any sort of elements. Basically, anything that moves, make it move slower. That's as simple as it gets. So thank you for joining me in this epic adventure. It was really fun manipulating space-time with you. Please feel free to check out many of my other tutorials that deal with time. It's really cool to add these sort of elements to your game, make them a little unique. Make your player feel like he's very special. So please feel free to comment, rate, and subscribe. If you have any questions, pop them in the comment section below and I can get back to you. If you like this tutorial as well as many of my other tutorials, you can become an official named sponsor of my channel and help its active development forever, now until the end. For as little as $1 a month, check out my Patreon campaign in the banner as well as in the description. You can also follow me on various social media networks, Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Instagram, all those kind of things. Links are in the description. Also, please feel free to download the project file, fiddle around with it, make it your own. If you find any optimizations that you have made, put it in the comments. We can share that with everyone. I'm sure everyone would be more than happy to read upon how we can improve the current example. So thanks again for joining me, and I'll see you guys next time for another great GameMaker tutorial.